You're listening to Productivity Monsters in the Morning. We are the energy vault your real estate business needs to get you up and out and excited and productive for the day. We go over trending topics and things that really matter in the market of the moment. Here are your hosts, Tiffany Hampton and Brooke Silva.
Today's soundtrack at the Productivity Monsters is brought to you by the annoying bird outside my office window that won't shut up.
And Spicy Tiffany.
And Spicy.
Oh, I work really hard not to be Spicy Tiffany. It's really important who we hang out with.
It is. And thank God you had a week of me.
I know.
And you're not spicy because of me. Let's just put that
out.
No. You are not spicy. I did not do anything this time to cause such.
Well, and let's just talk about how did I show up on Monday? I was a little ridiculous.
You were way out of your comfort zone.
It was so much fun.
Okay. So Tiffany, myself, and a bunch of our regional team had an advanced training for trainers. The easiest way to describe that, I think.
Yeah.
And it was all pouring into us, which is something it probably looks, geez, like I'm blurry. Come on now, come back to me, Brooke. There we go. My soul's leaving. We are at a lot of training, so people probably think we're constantly getting trained. But when you are the person running and moderating the training, you're listening with one ear because you're making sure your guests and the speakers and everything's going off. Is lunch ready? Does this person have what they need? Are they out of water, right? So while we go to a ton of trainings, we're often the facilitators and we just don't get to learn it the same way. So this one was all for us. There was no, is lunch here? Does Zach have everything he needs, right? It was, and we still did it anyway because it's who we are. But
yeah. Well, and there's a huge difference. Like, I pour into education and knowledge on a daily basis. Training is different, though.
Training and education for us ourselves is so different.
Yeah.
And this was the hardest thing I've ever done for myself. On Friday, I was like, should I get COVID? Do I have a stomach bug?
It's funny. I said the same thing. I was like, I should really come down with something this week.
Swap. You know? I had all these excuses in my head.
It's funny.
And it's funny because I was the most ready I have ever been to audition, because that's what we ended up having to do, was audition to be able to go down the line to do something else. And man, did that hurt. It hurt a lot. Like it was one of the hardest things I've ever done. So
well, I think the other part of it too is it's different to do it with your peers than it is to do it with strangers.
Yeah. And so in order to get into this class, you have to, stupid camera.
Not moving backwards.
I'm just trying to get comfortable in my chair this morning. In order to get into this class, you have to take Train the Presenter, which was the first iteration of it where it starts the process for you. So I did this a year and a half ago, and I have KWU is so wonderful. They email me whenever there's one close within a couple hours driving for the second one, the advanced that we're in this week. And I have avoided it like the plague. And I'm so glad to have gone through it, especially with the regional team. Because, our instructor was like, you guys are hysterical. You can tell you actually like each other.
We do.
We have so much fun. And at the end of the day, one of my favorite exercises had nothing to do with training. Well, it did, but it didn't feel like it at first. So oftentimes in our world, we go up against what we call the firing squad, which sounds awful. It is some people's nightmare. It is my heaven. It is, my personality works this way. So it's wonderful for me. Basically, what happens is you line up your whole crew of people, and is it like a minute or 2 minutes?
the questioning, it felt
Yeah.
like an hour, but it was 10.
Yeah. So what you do is when you do these firing squads with your team leaders, your MCTTs, all these people, you're going back and forth and you can only ask questions about the topic. Question. And then when the time goes on, one row of people move down and you start over. But what's so cool about these things is that you hear other people ask questions in a different way. So you have to listen and your brain has to be firing off. What am I going to ask next? If they say this, what then will I say? Whew. So Zach did that to us. And he did it with our lesson plans because we're in a training thing. So we had to come up with a lesson plan and train on something. So he had us take our lesson plans and we had to move through all the parts of a class with our partner. Tiffany was my partner by only asking questions.
Yep.
It got hard.
Oh yeah. Well, and after a while, like to use that muscle in your brain. Yeah. And I've been working that muscle in my brain for like 4 years now. So it definitely comes a little bit easier today than it did 4 years ago. However, like you have to go 3 deep. You ask a base question and then you have to go 3 deep. And then I never wanted to go deep. So
yes, which I forced you.
I know, having to go 3 deep, and it's something I work on a weekly basis because we have training around it every week. And you learn a lot.
What was great was I get excited not by telling you how much knowledge I have. That's not where this is going, but it's going to sound like that at first. But I try to perfect my craft every single day and get better.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're talking to people, or our team is, or a team leader, I am listening so intently to the questions being asked and the coaching questions. So when it was my turn to question you, and I did a future negative, which is one of the hardest places for me to go. I'm not a negative person, and putting people in their future negative is a very difficult thing for me to do. But you said something, and I was like, she just opened the door because it's going to be a positive with this future negative, right? Oh, I was like, Brooke, so proud of you.
Yeah. So how do we relate it back to our audience's lives, right? If you're going on a listing appointment or a buyer appointment and you're telling them all the things you're going to do to sell their house, stop it.
Yeah, stop telling.
Because they don't really care. They just want to get to a goal. And if you don't ask great questions about the goal,
right,
they're going to work with the person that made them feel warm and fuzzy. And here's the deal. I am not warm and fuzzy in any fashion. However, I know how to ask great questions in a listing appointment or a buyer appointment that I will beat the most warm and fuzzy people out there.
Well, it's why I kind of, when people are so hyper focused on their presentation packets before they even do these things, over the years, I mean, I don't think I can remember how many times I've said it, but they are the listing presentation. You are the buyer's consultation. Mm-hmm. Consultation. Yeah, do you need materials? You absolutely do, but they're to help back up what you're saying and what you're asking.
Yep.
So my big thing for you guys today is stop telling, start asking great questions.
Yeah. And I'm going to add a really cool thing. So last night, I fly back from Andover to Maine to be in front of my computer at 5:30 to do another training because I don't get enough training in the day.
Right.
And question, the word question. You know what's in that word?
A quest. Quest for knowledge.
Quest for answers. Yep. Quest for reasons. Quest for everything. So just ask questions.
Yep.
Just ask questions.
Just ask questions. Just ask questions.
I wonder if I would literally put the challenge out there, go an entire day without making a statement and just ask questions.
You might want to take 3 steps back so you don't get punched. Not everybody has a long reach. You know what was great this morning is I was cleaning off my desk. I have this thing where I'm trying to set my space no matter where I am in a way that I'm always going to be successful, because with a successful space comes successful brain and quiet some of the noise, right? And Hope sat down and she said, she said this before, but she sat down and she put on my little glasses and she's pretending to me and she's like, "Thank you for calling the Hope Desk. How can I help you?" Right? And she, there's a picture on my Facebook. Go see it after. And I said to her, "What do you think I do every day?" She goes, "You answer questions." I said, "Is that what I do?" She goes, "You ask a lot of questions and you help a lot of people." I said, "Well, what do I help them with?" And she said, "Their business." And I said, "Well, what business am I in?" She goes, "With houses." And I was like, "Yeah, kind of, but I'm in a people business first." And then she said, "Why do so many people call you?" And I said, "Well, why do you?" And so instead of me just saying, I'm just, "Why do you think so many people call you me?" She said, "Well, you have the answers." And it was just the cutest. How simplistic is the brain of a child without being jaded, without having preconceived notions, limiting beliefs?
Yep.
So I put up a post this morning, "Ask Hope anything." I'm going to ask the question and record her honest answers about people's questions. I mean, obviously, keep it within culture, friends. This is a 7-year-old. Don't ask her about your love life, okay? But I can't wait to see what people ask her, because sometimes when we've had problems and I'll be in the office and she'll be like, "What's wrong? You're stressed." Like she's like, "I can see you doing this." I said, I'm struggling to work through something, right? I have a lot of things on my plate. And she goes, "Well, you can only do one thing at a time. Really good." I was like,
You're creating a monster.
oh, and I was like, "Okay." She's like, "How about we make a list? Want to make a list and then we'll just get through the list?" Because that's what I say to her all the time. "Let's make a list and then we'll figure out what's most important, or what's, if we do this, makes everything else easier or unnecessary," right? Welcome to my KW child. So it'll be interesting to see what happens today with that post.
Absolutely.
Go and ask her a question you want answered.
100%. I'm going to. I will ask a question. I'll keep it in culture. I'm actually going to private message you the question.
Can you put that? Can you just put it on the post? I'm going to private you. But remember, she's going to publicly answer you.
I have to come up with a creative question.
Yes.
All right, my friend. I will see you later. Bye.